start from the 12th verse today, 4th chapter. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha Kamshanta Karmanam Siddhim Yajanta Iha Devataha Shipram Hi Manushe Loke Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. So let's quickly recollect what all the things that we have covered from the very beginning in this chapter. First, he talked about his parampara of teaching. Remember, I taught just the Vivaswan, all of that he talked about. And then there's a chain of kings that taught one to the next and so forth. And then he talked about his nature as Ishvara. That is coming very evident in this chapter. So he's slowly moving to his identification, not as Krishna as for the body, but Krishna as the Ishvara. And then how he manifests as different avatars and, that to cleanse the dharmic aspects, he does it. And then we also talked about towards the end of last class, how he responds to each and every one who reach him. Independent of what they are asking for, how does he respond? And the aspect of so and so forth. So the Karma Yoga part is getting more and more brought up in this chapter also at the beginning. Also at the same time bringing in the knowledge about himself, knowledge about how it all got started. So you see the whole thing coming together. So now the 12th stanza talks about the effort that is needed in this. See, most people, when we look at any solution to any problem, right, we look at quick solutions. Normal average thinking, listen, whatever you get, can I pop a pill in so that I get better tomorrow? And that's what we look for even in life, right? There is there is a lot of, we call problems happening. What should I do? We go to an astrologer, you go to some person, that person says, do this homa, do this puja, etc., go to this temple, 100 times do this, etc. And they do that. That is what he's stressing here in this stanza, is that the tendency is to look for, do certain actions where we do sacrifices to the Lord. So the word he uses that, you use the word here, right? To yajanta iha devataha. Sacrifice. So what are the sacrifices? Sacrifices are whatever we offer. Right? All of these that we do in the form of yajna, homas, all of them under sacrifice. So all of this is what the intent is. Somewhere something has to get quickly resolved. Fine. And the key thing that Krishna is saying, these all bring results for sure. But they bring finite results. Finite results means what? Finite happiness. Does it solve the crux of the problem? May not be. But yeah, temporarily it looks like something is solved. And it happens also quickly. So mankind is, and the reason why all this is done is when supposing you go tell the person, if you do these things, it is like medicine, right? You take all these preventive actions over a period of, let's say, another 6 months, and you'll be able to come out of something. Versus saying, you take something for the next 1 week, you'll be solved. Most people will look for the 1 week thing. So is the case even in the context of life challenges, etc., that happen. So here, and the reason is because it takes effort. Spiritual path is not easy. Gurudev has made it very easy by taking us into the Sudarshan Kriya. But if you just look at it, even then, for most of us to go through the knowledge, go through the cleansing process, go through, how to apply the knowledge, it's not easy. There are always small things that are still out there. So the seeking of pleasure, the seeking of quick results, karma phalam, quick thing is what prompts many things. And he's just warning here, this path is difficult. You get quick profits through these small other things by sacrifices. There is a larger purpose in all of this. Okay. Now he goes into the 13th stanza. 13th stanza is loaded. In fact, many stanzas today are fairly loaded, so just have to pay a lot of attention to some of the teachings here. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartarapi tasya kartaramapi mam vidya kartaram avyayam. So here Krishna talks about the fourfold varna, not caste, fourfold varnas. Misunderstood many people as caste here. Varnas are what? Varnas are, if you can just look at four, we can call as four types of personalities, broadly four types of personalities. Now, what are those personalities? How are they colored? Is what he's going to say. And first he says is that the fourfold varnas of society, his society, are created according to the gunas, the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. These three gunas, and the combination of them is what constitutes these varnas. So, and we all have talked about the fact earlier. Where do these varnas, where do these gunas come from? Each and every one of us comes from our own prior experiences, prior tendencies, prior vasanas. That is what is going to color each and every one of our varnas. Absolutely. And varnas are what are going to gives us a thought. The next thought that comes is from the gunas. So here, when we talk about, of course, there is the three gunas: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Now, the whole Bhagawat Gita, in fact, the second chapter was called Sankhya Yoga, if you remember. So there are a set of philosophers, on the Sankhya Yoga, they put some color also. It's white in color, is red in color, and Samasik is black in color. So these are the personalities. And you can relate to these colors. See, typically red is symbolic of somebody who's very agile, is always hyperactive. White is always pure. And black is something, who's a bit more laid back. So you can relate to these colors. Very, beautifully worked out colors. So, and we know that these, broadly speaking, these three gunas reflect what the highest tendency, right? Meaning it's a tendency for a larger purpose is sattvic in nature. Next comes is rajasic, and of course the third one, base level. You can't go anything below that, is tamasic. And each and every one of us have got all these three in some shades of color or the other. And in a given day also, a particular time, one guna will be more predominant than the other. If you look at the night, tamasic has to take, more predominance compared to rajasic and tamasic. In the morning hours, for those of us who are into practices, sattvic takes more predominance. And then during the day, when you're doing a lot of action, of course it has to be rajasic. So it is one with a tinge of the other, or with a tinge of the other two. So what Krishna is saying is that each and every one, even a saint, even a sage, has got a bit of tamas, even though that person is purely sattvic in nature. Similarly, a criminal, on the flip side of it, has got a tinge of sattva in it and a tinge of rajasic in it. So therefore, one can never say, this person is purely this, purely that, etc. It's always a tinge of both of them. So as I said, now let's get to these four classifications, right? So we said that one is white in color, one is red in color, one is black in color. A supremely sattvic person. That is the first one now. Who are these people? The saints, the sages, prophets, realized people, gurus, all of them come under supremely sattvic. Yes, they have. It's not that they are devoid of Rajasic. They do work. There is Rajasic part of it, but even the Rajasic activity is determined by from the Sattvic, from a higher, with higher goals, with etc. Then comes, so that is easy, right? Then comes a Rajasic person. All the people who are dynamic leaders, you know, the CEOs of the world, etc., the intellectuals of the world, who get things done, leaders of mankind, kings of those yesteryears, um, all of them, right? They would all fall under that. They are Rajasic in nature, yet have a lot of Sattvic quality in them. They are doing the Rajasic thing for the betterment of others. If you take even Kshatriyas, they fall under this category. Kshatriyas are what? They're very Rajasic in nature, right? They are trying to fulfill their duty for a particular community or a particular country. And and it is not that they are devoid of knowledge. So they have the knowledge, but their sense of duty is paramount for them. So for a Kshatriya, it's in the war field. It's for a company, it is the company, and how to grow the people in that company. And so they both, if you see this, you see the people, they have a lot of responsibility. Same is the case with the first one also, but a lot of responsibility. And their thing is all about a larger take care of the society, whatever the society would mean to them. Then the third varna that comes, that Krishna is classifying, comes under tradesmen or businessmen. Now, these people are also dynamic, but their functioning, the difference between the second and the third, their ideals are not high. Their ideals are, I should, with whatever I'm doing, I should be able to build a bigger house, a bigger mansion, own 10 more cars, etc., etc. So their goals are not to the same high level as that of the second or the first category. So they're dynamic, they have to do a lot of action. And there is a dash of tamas in them compared to the first two, hardly any tamas in them. And their intent is to make money. They also serve the society in whatever ways, right? They have to be in a particular place, and without the traders, businessmen, no society can survive. You go to a shop to buy something. Those shop people have to be there for you to, get the things for your house. Without them, we cannot eat. So we need tradesmen. We need these business people. Then the fourth class that comes is the labor class. Right. So the labor class is the fourth varna. Again, remember, all of these are independent of, what we call, we are not calling Shudras, we are not calling Kshatriya, I mean, we are not calling anybody by any caste name here. We're all talking about what category of people they belong. So what's an attribute of the labor class? They are largely tamasic in nature. It's just that they're working. You agree, they're working. But then if you have noticed, predominantly the labor class, they would rather idle rather than get the job done. You have to sometimes, supervisor will come, suddenly they'll get it back. Supervisor leaves and saying, I'm going for a coffee break, they'll sit down, get onto their phones. So to motivate them to do is a lot harder. To motivate a labor class to get the work done, harder. To motivate, you don't need any motivation for the supremely sattvic person or the leaders. They are self-propelled. They will just get it done. Nobody has to even tell them. Because they are inspirers. Not is the case with labor class. They are definitely not inspirers. They'll get the job done for you. So if you see in society, in any society, any village, any town, any city, we need all these four. And the yesteryears, those kings in the yesteryears knew that all of these four classes were needed. So even though a king was Rajasic in nature, he made sure that in his kingdom there were ministers, there were saints, etc., that they were respected. who used to give knowledge, who used to be the advisors for certain decisions. And then also they had businessmen, right, to take care of the people's needs. Then, of course, you had people, who, cleaned up, take care of the horse, clean up the horse, clean up the carriages, clean do this work, that work, etc. The labor class, all of these four were needed. So, so what this tells us is that in a society, all these four are needed. So should they all not be respected? Should I look down upon a labor class? Or should I value that person also for what he brings to my house? If I didn't have that person, will a BWSSP person today that comes and does all the work about, cleaning the drainage, etc., they come under the labor class, but we need them, right? Without them, can you call and, say there's a problem here, it's leaking, come and clean it up on a plumbing job? Needed, right? So that respect for them, so that is a couple of things that are coming out of this, right? One is to have that respect. Know that they are in this category. And it's not that everybody fits in, right? There'll always be exceptions. There'll always be a labor class person who does stupendous work, etc. We are talking about a large cross section of people. That is where they normally come under. Two things. One is that, these four classes are there. Second thing is that these are not by birth. It does not mean that a person, who's supremely sattvic, or let's say, let's just call it, now let's take the caste example. Let's say a Brahmin family. A person born in a Brahmin family has to be a Brahmin. It doesn't mean that a doctor's son has to be doctor's son or a doctor's daughter has to be a doctor. Same as with an engineer. So it is not by birth. It is based upon their vasanas, their gunas. And those gunas are born by how they were in their previous births. What are they carrying with them? That is the reason you'll notice that there are exceptions in every places. You would find in, certain families, let's say I'm just taking even a Brahmin family, there'll be some people who will be doing labor class work. And you'll be finding that in certain class of Kshatriya work, they are very supremely sattvic. Even so, in the case, I know of some very, close families, the Brahmin family who are doing business. So there is therefore not necessary that, this person has to fit into this bucket, etc. That is where the mistake happens. Gita clearly says, Krishna clearly says, you are what you are based upon your thoughts. And your thoughts are born by your gunas. And your gunas are born by your impressions that you carry from all your previous births. So therefore, how can somebody born to me be classified the same as I am? It may be. I'm not saying that's not possible, but we cannot therefore say this person. That's the reason you find that, somebody in a family may not be adopting exactly what the parents are doing. Parents may be doing something, and they're trying to do, make sure that the child also does the same thing. Child may be saying, I'm of a different type. So realizing that is likely to happen. That is what he's saying. So therefore, sannyasi is there, you see, right? Even for example, priestly class, right? People who are doing priest work. How many times you see, son born in the priesthood doesn't want to be a priest. He wants to do something else. He wants to do business. Some have done, they go on to, do something else altogether. So therefore, this, we have to just look at this from multiple perspectives, right? One is it's not by birth. Second thing, this division is for the entire universe. It's for the entire humanity. It is not about a village in Tamil Nadu or a village in Gujarat or something. It is the same thing applies in London, same thing applies in US. Everywhere the same varnas. So that is something we have to keep in mind, right? So that is the first thing. You see, these four varnas are there based upon your gunas and dharmas. Then he says that I am the author of all of them. Author means what? Author means without me, a Kshatriya cannot be a Kshatriya. Without me, a Brahmin will not be able to utter one chant. Without me, a labor class person will not be able to run a shop. So therefore, I am therefore what the spirit in everything that happens. I am the catalytic agent. I bring the dynamism into anybody for anything to happen. So if you see the relationship between, let's just look at this right now, right? If we just look at Lord and then the divine force and then look at us, what is the relationship that he has? He's making everything happen for us, right? He is related and yet he is not unrelated. He is still unrelated. So that's we call it as relationless relationship. He doesn't carry all the things that you and I do. He doesn't carry any fruits. He doesn't look at what results come. He doesn't look at, he's enabling you do whatever you want, right? That came in the earlier stanza last week, right? You want to take a knife and cut somebody, it's up to you. Tatastu. You want to cut the knife to, get rid of some, what you call, cut a vegetable, tatastu. I'm not going to come in the way. Therefore, I don't dictate what you do. It's just that I bless everything. So that is why we call relationless relationship. You've got a big relationship. Without him, we cannot do 1 inch. This class will not happen. This session will not happen. This Zoom call will not happen. Right? So therefore, between the divine and the world, this is the relationship that we have to be very, very clear about. So, and how do we look at all of this, right? It's just, again, go back to these examples, right? A sun illumines the entire world. But let's say in some part of the world, there's so much of war happening, people are killing each other, there's war, bloodshed. Is the sun tainted by any of it? No, nothing at all. So it's related. Without that sun, first of all, nothing can happen on earth. And yet at the same time, what somebody does in the world, the sun is not affected. So when we look at therefore that back to that last chapter where we talked about yajna spirit and everything, right? Where there is everybody comes together from different types of people to get a yajna done. Let's say, for example, tomorrow if you have to get a big yajna done, let's say a Chandi Homa done in a particular place, village, what is required? It needs purohits. It needs, you definitely need the saintly class people. You need also the people who are the good planners who know what all has to be done, right? And then you also need businessmen who provide you all the ammunition to get yajna done, ghee to do all of that. And then the labor class also to put the tent together, to put the whole place into a place so that yajna can happen. The homakunda, cement, bricks, everything. So that is the mutual dependence of all these 4 varnas. That is what he's stressing here. So these four varnas coexist. You can never say in one place I can be without this other. It will not survive. The moment some people leave from there, people will leave from there. Others will leave from there. Let's say, for example, a particular village where labor class leaves and they all say, Tata Bye, I'm going out of here. None of the others will live there. They will also say, I have to go also. Right. And you see that happening, right, in certain places, in certain villages over the years. Some people have come to cities. You don't find some people who are willing to do farm work, who are willing to do some of this work. So the people who run the farms are finding it difficult to run it. So that interdependence. Okay, we'll want to these verses. And so therefore, this Varna thing, we have to always, somebody tells about caste or anything from somewhere, we have to refer to this Bhagavad Gita stanza and we have to refer to what ultimately the text says. all the stars, etc. And this has been clarified. So a lot of people say that many people don't read it, understand it. Okay, 14th verse and the 15th verse we'll jump together. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma pale spriha, iti mam yobhijanati, karma bhinna sabhadyate, evam jnatva kritam karma, purvairapi mumukshibhihi, kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, purve purvataram kritam. So, as we said in the last stanza, what did we say? It says here clearly, the actions do not taint me. We took that message, right? About the sun. The sun is not one bit affected by what is done with it. It is like this, right? If I put the sunshine and I take buckets of water, and one bucket of water is clear, right? You can see the bottom till the bottom, from the top. And then in another bucket of water, it's a lot of mud, etc. that is there, right? The sun equally gives sunshine to both of them. But the reflection of water in the clear water, bucket with clear water is very clear. In fact, it's so bright. To go near it, you have to stay away from it. It's be so bright. Not so is the reflection from the muddy water. You'll be able to stand there. Now, does the sun get affected by that reflection or the lack of reflection from the two buckets? None, zero, right? So it is not affected. So similarly, na mam karmani limpanti. I am not affected or tainted by the actions that you do, even though I'm the author. Author means what? Without me, nothing happens. So therefore, if you look at and translate this to our own actions, that is where this comes in. These verses are now talking about, earlier we talked about not getting caught in the roots of action, right? Not getting, craving about this fruit should happen, it should be like this, etc. Now we're talking about looking at the doership. Who is doing your work? Who is doing your work? So here, the first thing that he's saying is that, yes, you can say my hands are doing the work. But what did we learn earlier, even in the third chapter? Your gunas govern what you're doing. That means what? Your impressions, which then relate to the gunas, are doing it. And then after that, what happens? Those gunas are going to translate that into how your mind is going to reflect on the actions, and then how your hand and legs and ears and eyes, etc., are going to translate, right? Who gave you those? Who's running your eyes? Who's running the legs and the hands? Can it go 1 inch without the blessing of the divine? None. So even though the body is being given to us, every second that it operates, it's operating by the author, by the spirit. So therefore, the more and more I also look at this entire thing as, I am doing it, yes, definitely. Therefore, that is the reason, the more and more I look at this as, just like the divine looks at it, selflessly doing everything, right? It doesn't look at who does what with its divine, with its authorship. Similarly, can I do more and more selfless actions? Do I need to get entangled on, egoistic aspects of I did it, because of me only this happened. Without me, this would not have succeeded. Think about it, right? I mean, so abhijanati, somebody who knows that, very clearly knows this particular aspect that the divine is the ultimate doer. Yes, I have to do things. It's not that because we say he's doing everything, I do nothing. He's given us an instrument, right? I have to use the instrument. Without the instrument, I will also go idle. And any day, if the instrument is not used, you'll perish very soon. So therefore, understand your nature, right? When Guruji says understand your nature, do everything naturally, naturally. What is he saying naturally? The more you say naturally, it means use your understanding about the spirit in which it operates and do it like that. What does the divine do? Selflessly, with a lot of love, without looking at what results come, not tainted, not affected, not no craving for a particular result. So not getting, so what all are we talking about? Not the results we talked about in the second chapter itself. So in all of these work that we do, obviously, right, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a doctor, whether you're an engineer, everything that we do, we have to plan. We have to plan for a particular result and we have to execute on that particular plan. It is very clearly we have to do it. The question is, at that time, once the action is given, what all are the factors that you look at when you're doing it, right? Do you get caught on, I am doing this. You get caught on the results of it. All of that, he's saying, worrying about it leads to inefficiency. So that is where this particular knowledge comes into play. And the way to also look at this whole thing, right? If you look at this, when we look at our life, right? One of the things that was said, have you been to dramas? We go to dramas, right? In dramas, what happens? Each one is given a certain role. Let's say in one particular drama, you're a role of a father. One, you're a king. One, you're a queen. How long does that role stay? Till the time you are in that particular role, you have to act out a particular character, and then you come out of it. Are you caught on that particular role throughout your life? So we are all drama actors if you really look at it. All of us are drama actors. As a mother, sometimes as a mother, we do a drama act. Sometimes as a leader in a company or as a teacher or as a doctor at profession, whatever it is, we do that thing. But we come out of it. Do we cling on to the fact that I held that particular role as this, right? Once you come home, it's gone, right? Over. Doership is gone, right? You don't get caught on. So the more and more we feel detached from those actions that we did, the more we will be able to be natural, the more less vasanas that cling to us. The more we think about, I did this, this result didn't come, etc., what happening? We are looking at taking in more and more karma. Agami karma continues to build up. Oh, more and more I keep looking at this. The last thing we want to do is add any karma. No punya, no papa. Now, 15th verse also builds on the same thing. So the actions, the more we look at it as it is just being performed, I am just simply an instrument, and things are being done through me. Many a times you look at how many times you've seen this, that things just happen. Things happen. You say, right, this just happened. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. That itself will give us a hint of who's the action, who's the doer. Am I the doer? Or there's a larger force that's the doer. Okay. All right. We'll move on to the 16th verse now. This is again a very beautiful verse, very non-intuitive verse, as I would say. Okay. Kim karma kima karmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami ikyatva mokshase shubhat. Kim karma kima karmeti. What is action? What is inaction? And then he goes on just to say, Kavayopyatra Mohita, even the wise people do not understand this. Which one? What is action? What is inaction? So, beautiful verse. So more we, yeah. So what is action? Action, we know what it is, right? We have talked about this. It is definitely not movement of limbs. We know that action also happens, beyond that, right? And is inaction lack of movement? No. And then the other thing we have done already then that, the action by itself is not good or bad. The motive or the intent behind the action is what makes it good or bad, right? These things we have already understood it. So these things we have to be very clear about, right? So the motive. Now the question is, 16th and 17th stanza is going to talk about exactly what these actions are, actions are. 16th verse, let's talk quickly about 16th, then we'll go to 17th. So what he's saying that by knowing this, you will be able to appreciate your own actions, appreciate all the pain and sorrows that become, how to resolve them. Yeah. So, I think the best thing is to take, for example, you've got two equipments, right? You all know this. There is a thermometer and then there is a thermostat. Thermometer, what does it do? It measures the temperature. So you put, let's say, a thermometer into a water that is kept in the stuff, and somebody says that the temperature has to be, 28 degrees. You put it there, and as the water starts heating up, it goes to 28, and you remove the thermometer, right? The temperatures come. So the thermometer is swayed by what? The surroundings. It's swayed by the heat that you put on it. It's swayed, the thermometer you put a thermometer inside your house right now, and you keep it again in the night, it's going to be influenced by what? The sun is out, it's getting dark, it's going to get cooler and cooler and cooler. So thermometer therefore is what? Is swayed. It is influenced by the surroundings. On the other hand, thermostat. We also have a thermostat, right? Many houses have thermostat. Thermostat is what? You keep it in a certain place to maintain a particular temperature. So thermostat determines the surroundings. A, a thermometer is swayed by the surroundings, and thermostat determines the surroundings. So we have to ask ourselves, do I want to be a thermometer or do I want to be a thermostat? Do I want to be swayed by everything that's happening around me so that I get, dance to the surroundings? I dance to the situations. I dance to the emotions that are happening elsewhere. Or I am totally in a state of, centeredness. I determine the surroundings. Even if it comes to me, I determine what it should be. I'm not swayed by it. Even if I get swayed by it, I can take care of it. I can keep a sanity and all of that. So that is a fundamental thing. Now going to 17th verse. 17th verse. Karma no hyapi bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. So here it builds on the previous stanza. So here a few things come, terminologies come. So if you look at activity, if you look at life, right? Let's start with life. There is activity, there is inactivity. There is action and there is inaction. Action is one type. We'll get into that, which we call as karma, right? And inaction is called as akarma. So we call as karma is action, akarma is inaction. Inaction means what? Not doing anything. Akarma. Now, what that word inaction means will get discussed in the next few stanzas. Now we take the karma part below that, right? And you branch it into now what all happens? We have karma there under the activity. And then we also have vikarma. Vikarma means what? Forbidden activity. Forbidden means what? Not to be done. Let's say, for example, a robbery, a crime, or something detrimental to the society, to another person, or even to yourself. Suicide, for example, is a vikarma. Right? So karma is an activity to be done. Vikarma is an activity that is forbidden not to be done. Now, if you peel that onion a little bit further, then you have what under karma? You have nitya karma. What is day-to-day duties, obligatory duties every day, right? And these obligatory duties will vary from person to person. A mother will have certain obligatory duties to do at home, right? Now, whether it's taking care of the house, cooking, cleaning, whatever, those duties, all of them will come. Similarly, obligatory duties for a doctor will be slightly different, having to take care of the patient's welfare, surgery, etc. All of this will come. So there are certain duties based upon one's gunas, which determines the nitya karma. Now, let's supposing one is a sage, supposing one is a meditator, then meditation becomes a nitya karma. If you have done Sandhya Vandana, Sandhya Vandana becomes a Nitya Karma. So Nitya Karma are the obligatory duties to be done every day, not as conveniently every day. Then comes Naimittika Karma. What is Naimittika Karma? Naimittika Karma is the things that are done in certain occasions. For example, if you say, if you take again rituals, you take, let's say, Amavasya comes. On an Amavasya, people do certain things for their forefathers, for their ancestors. Whatever the custom is for your particular family, that has to be done. Something that is done annually, right? Shraddha is done once every year. Or maybe there might be certain other things that are done, where you have to fast once a year on a certain day. Let's say some people fast on a Ekadashi, some people fast on another day that they choose. Whatever is to be done, we follow that. And as you all know, right, in our culture, there are certain functions, certain days, you offer certain things what you call just what we just finished, right, which is the, something last year, this thing, for the sun god we did, right? We just did that on 14th of, so we did that, correct? So similarly, when Yugadi comes, have for certain things. So there are certain things that comes with festivals. There are certain things that comes even from a society standpoint. Even annadana, even things that you do on a regular basis, right? For bringing service to other people, to make others happy, put a smile on somebody's face. All of them come under Naimittika Karma. Because we are obligated, right? We are here with certain debts, debt to this family, debt to the society, debt to the environment, debt to the people around us, and all of those will come under nine. The third karma that comes in is the kamya karma. Kamya karma, the other desires you and I have. I have a desire for, let's say, a cell phone, will come under kamya karma. It is driven by desires. I do certain actions. I, do something to save all the money so that I can go buy a cell phone, comes under Kamya Karma. And so how do all these actions have to be done? We've learned this already, right? Yajna spirit. What is Yajna spirit? We should just keep this in mind all the time. Yajna spirit means doing something where we realize that there is a, sense of gratitude first for the action. But I've been given an action, sense of gratitude, sense of gratefulness. Second thing, what I do this with the respect of that everything is interdependent. I am not doing anything alone. and dependent on many other factors, people, situations, environment, even those varnas that we talked about earlier, all of them, they do it. Once we do everything in this yajna spirit, there is no karma. You don't take any impressions because you're doing it because, and then there's a prasada buddhi, right? Prasada buddhi means what? Whatever comes, I share it with people. I share the prasad with. So the more and more with this knowledge, I'm able to apply it to these karma types, whether it is nitya karma, nainatika karma, right? And even to some extent on the kanya karma, the more and more I grow. So what all gratitude, interdependence, sharing prasad, and all of that comes under it. Okay? Okay. Go to the now the 15th stanza. Yeah. कर्मण्य कर्मय पश्येत कर्मणि च कर्मयः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृष्ण कर्मकृत्. So it builds on this, right? So now we have understood what, to some extent, action in action. But then there is a lot more, essence that we have to extract in terms of this doership, who's doing it, etc. And this is what this verse does. So he says here very clearly, a person who realizes inaction in action and action in action are wise people. Always, sometimes, there always has to be a contrasting verse of Bhagavad Gita. And almost every chapter has got this contrasting verse. And somebody will pull their hair. The logical person will pull the hair literally to understand what does he mean by saying action in inaction. Look, doesn't make any sense. But the more once we just feel it a little bit, it's so beautiful to understand. Okay. Let's understand, ask ourselves. Let's say, I just say today I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to sit. I'm going to chill, as they call it, right? The Gen Z, I'm going to chill. What am I doing by chill? I'm going to sit somewhere in the corner, maybe, let's say I'm not even going to do anything with the cell phone. I'm just putting my legs, spread apart, and sitting on a couch or a sofa, or whatever, and close my eyes, and that's it. Am I acting or not acting? Somebody from outside might say, this person is a lazy bum, not doing anything at all, fit for nothing. If my father or mother were there, they would say, what is this person doing? Morning to night, useless person. He's not getting up and doing any action. So outward, no action. But inward, a lot of action. Inward, what are the action? All the thoughts. Even though I'm chilling, I'm thinking, okay, I've not gone to work today. Tomorrow, all that load will come on me. How am I going to handle it? Right? And then all the, empty desires that you didn't have a thing to think about, all of them will come. Right? You're looking at when is the next food going to come? I'm getting hungry here. Today I'm chilling. I should eat this. I should eat that. I should watch maybe a movie in the TV. Today I'm not doing anything. All of those thoughts, all of them, they all are actions. All of them are. So here, there's a classic example of what? Action in inaction. From the outside, it's inaction. Somebody is fasting. Ekadashi, I am going to fast. And that person says, oh, I'll also do maunam today. So fasting and maunam, both, right? No talking. No action outside. Inside, is that person idle, right? At a mental level, thinking, hope this 24 hours goes past quickly so that I can eat my breakfast tomorrow nicely. And I should have a good breakfast because one day I've not eaten anything. I think I have the luxury to eat a good breakfast tomorrow. I should tell my wife or I should tell my mother to make all this for me tomorrow after the good fast. Right? Or, maunam. No, I'm not I'm not speaking to anybody, but I'm thinking this, that, etc. So my mouth is not moving, right? My eyes may not be moving, it's closed, but still, a lot of thoughts are coming. Ask yourself when you're meditating, are you in inaction or action? Outside, we are in inaction. Inside, are we not acting? So all of these were, they're all illustrations of what? In action. Action in action. So, when somebody says, thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Um, don't hold on to the thoughts, right? Guruji says. What are those thoughts? Also part of your action. So hopefully this part is clear, right? The one who realizes in action in inaction. That is the first one. What is the other one? Opposite one? All of us, right? When we do something, right? As we talked about earlier itself, this is where the doership aspect comes in. I am doing something. Who is the author for that work? Who is the author for the what I'm speaking now? Who's the author? Who's making it happen? The inaction, the non-action person. Who's what? The divine. The divine is the, no action because no akarta, right? We remember we have talked about this. Akarta means what? Not doer. But without him, nothing happens. So we need all the sense organs, everything to do the work, right? But who's the one who's enabling even 1 inch of that movement? Is the divine force. So understanding that there is a entity, a spirit that is governing every minute of what I do is understanding the inaction in action. That second aspect of it is what will more and more we relate to it will help us to come out of this so-called mentality of egoistic doership. I did this, hence I should get this result. The more I reflect on the fact that it is getting done, yeah, results will come, but I'm not getting caught on these results. Okay. Um, and this particular thing, and the second other aspect of it to understand in these actions and actions, right, is question of responsibility. Let's say you're a doctor, you treat a patient, and you treat a patient, that person falls sick. Who's responsible? The doctor, right? Let's say you went to the doctor's office and the doctor says, I'm busy, I can't see you, and you fall sick. Who's responsible? The doctor. So you are responsible for your action. You're also responsible for your inaction. Right? Classic example, right? You go to a party, children are all playing, and people are all eating. Prasad was given, there's bananas given, and people are just throwing the banana. The children are, throwing the banana peel here and there, and a child just comes and slips on that banana peel and falls down. And you are so busy, you say, I have to catch, I have to run, so you just sleep, and that child is crying. Are you responsible for the inaction there? Yes, right. If I had just stepped in and taken a minute and removed that peel so that no other child falls in it, you're responsible, right? So, therefore, I am in my life responsible for action that I do and also the inaction that I do that I should have done otherwise. That is where, when we talk about those karmas, right? Nainitika karma, nitya karma. If I don't do something, I am responsible. I will bear the fruit of that inaction sooner or later. It's a matter of time. I'm going to stop it here. It's fairly loaded things. We will continue this in the next class.